Hi and welcome. Now I'm making this video today to make clear, hopefully, some popular misconceptions about the product Kleer. What is Kleer, you may ask? Well, if you found this video via the search feature on YouTube, then you'll have a pretty good idea. If you've just come across this video looking for general modelling related things, then you may not know. Well, it depends entirely on who you speak to. Apparently, some people believe the original Kleer to be the second coming in liquid form. It's an utterly indispensable fluid made from pure rare titanium with slivers of the Koh-i-Noor diamond. And in addition to its use for pre-decaling and pre-washing your model, it can also perform other functions, such as washing the dishes, doing the laundry, cooking dinner, taking the dog for a walk, and all of this while curing the world's ills. So, wow, awesome! No wonder this stuff sells for 20 quid a bottle on eBay. Except that it's none of the above. It's not some miraculous wonder stuff. Stay tuned and I'll tell you exactly what Kleer is and exactly what Kleer isn't. In a nutshell, Kleer is a thin, almost watery acrylic gloss varnish made by SC Johnson, and it was designed for putting a sheen on wooden floors. Period. That's it. That really is all it is. And it looked something like this. Now, in the before time and the long ago, a modeller somewhere, probably being forced by his or her significant other to give the floors a once-over, read the label and thought, hang on, this ingredient list reads just like my bottle of acrylic gloss varnish which costs £2 for a 50ml bottle. Except this is the same price, it's pre-thinned, it's 500ml. I'll hurl some of this at a model and see what happens. Lo and behold, the nation cheered as the discovery of a cheap acrylic gloss varnish was brought to light. Perfect in its cheapness for coating prior to decal application, weathering with oils and pastels, and occasionally as a top coat should the modeller require a glossy finish. The key word here, incidentally, is cheap. The fact that this stuff was about £2 for a half litre made it a bargain. Now, because the old Kleer is discontinued, unscrupulous eBay sellers are trying to convince people that it's pure gold in a bottle, and it typically sells for £20 and up per bottle. This immediately negates the one useful feature it had, the fact that it was cheap. A bottle of excellent quick-drying acrylic varnish made properly for the purpose can be had for about the same price. Extra acrylics, for example. Now, don't get me wrong, Kleer is good stuff. It's simply just not worth £20 a bottle. Or even £10 a bottle, to be frank. Especially as the new formula, yes, there is a new formula, we'll get to that in a moment, does exactly the same thing. Yes, you heard that right. It does exactly the same and costs a fraction of the price. Okay, pay attention now. I'm going to show you the old and the new, and I'm going to show you what they do differently. Okay, you've seen the old bottle. The new bottle looks like this. It's a white bottle. It is called, the improved formula Kleer is now Pledge Multi-Surface Wax, made by SC Johnson. Same people. Something else I noticed, which I wasn't aware of until I started filming this, because I've had this bottle for forever, as you can tell by the old Lady Save £2.69 sticker on there. And this one I bought from a Morrison's supermarket much more recently. The new one is actually 750 millilitres, the old one is 500. The new one cost me, I think, £3.50, so it's really not greatly more expensive, which is an interesting thing. But anyway, so we've got the old, we've got the new, and I've got two empty clear glass Tamiya jars here. What I'm going to do, pop off the lids, and I'm going to pour a sample of each into these jars so that you can see exactly what you're looking at. Okay, now the old stuff, as you can see, is completely clear. The new stuff is kind of milky, opaque, translucent. I don't know how you describe that, but milky, I guess, probably the easiest description to get a grasp on. So we've got our samples. Okay, now pay close attention. I am going to tell you exactly what the differences are. One is clear in colour, the other is not. One comes in a clear bottle, the other does not. One is perfumed, very nicely I might add. The other is not. That's it. Seriously, that's it. Everything else that this one did, this new one does. Okay, the new one may be opaque, but it lays on the same and it dries clear with a glossy sheen. It self-levels, just like the old stuff. It works excellently brushed or airbrushed, just like the old stuff. Clear parts dipped into it and left to dry will appear more brilliantly transparent and thinner, just like the old stuff. The new stuff has two added bonuses, however. It can be had for about £3.50 a bottle from pretty much any high street supermarket or hardware store, and it will make your modelling room smell nice, which is always a good thing. Now, I know there are going to be some modellers out there watching this going, but what about? Now, be patient. I'm going to cover the other uses of Klear momentarily. Now, just to explain, I chose to film this due to various discussions seen on modelling fora, and particularly for new modellers who seem to be being misinformed either by folk who are looking at the old formula through rose-tinted magnifying goggles or through general ignorance of the facts. Now, by that, I mean the vast majority of responses I've read go along the lines of, it seems that the new stuff doesn't. I've heard that the new stuff doesn't. Apparently, the new stuff doesn't. My sister's brother's uncle's son's pet Gila monster said that the new stuff doesn't, etc. Okay, I made the last one up, but you get the idea. So, fed up of reading surmises and guesses and hearsay, I went and bought myself a bottle of the new stuff and proceeded to try it. So what I'm saying here is I speak from first-hand experience, and I can tell you absolutely that barring the colour and the smell, this stuff behaves in exactly the same way and does exactly the same job as this stuff. Now, let's get on to the extra functions that some people will be wondering about. Now, some modellers will tell you that this can be used as canopy glue. Yes, it can. Yes, the new stuff will do exactly the same job as would any varnish or even paint for that matter. However, it's a varnish. It's not a glue. Why on earth would you not just use glue? Klear, old or new, will at best give you a tenuous grip on a canopy, and a sharp tap will unseat it. PVA is a better, safe option, the only downside of that being the long drying time. Superglue is better still, although some people will be saying, but superglue can fog clear parts. Well, yes it can if not used correctly. I will say I've never yet fogged a canopy with superglue, and I use it exclusively to glue clear parts, and it's all about a common sense approach to using the stuff. Now, practical use number 2. Some people use the old Klear as a decal setting solution. Now, I believe that the new stuff would not behave any differently when used in the same manner. and frankly nor would any thinned acrylic varnish or water thinned PVA, both of which I've seen used by professional modellers. If you want to see examples of that, do a search for Sleepy Raphael's Playmo videos, just see the name down here, and watch these professional modellers from Japan, and you will see examples of that. I haven't used either for this decal setting purpose, and I've no intention of doing so. Why is that? Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's a varnish, not a decal setting solution. I use Microsol once the decal is applied with just plain water, and frankly, if Microsol will not settle a decal into panel lines, Kleer would never even make a mark on it. And especially when you're reading comments like Kleer is okay for setting a decal onto a flat surface. Well, frankly, if you can't settle a decal onto a flat surface with just plain water and the glue that comes on the decal, then you're doing something very wrong indeed. The third one. Now, this was in response to a comment I made on a forum about Kleer not being the all-singing, all-dancing wonder stuff that some people claimed it to be. And somebody on a forum somewhere, I forget which one offhand, said, well, you can use it to thin paint. I mean, come on, that's just stupid. There's a thing called paint thinners. They're designed specifically for the job. Maybe he hadn't heard about them, I don't know. I think, to be honest, he was really scraping the bottom of the barrel when he was trying to offer suggestions to justify his placing on a pedestal of this marvellous clear liquid. So that's all I can actually recall for the moment. I certainly don't recall any other miraculous uses. As yet, I don't think it's capable of walking your dog or washing your pots, despite what I said earlier. So I'm going to wrap up this video by saying Kleer, or as it is currently known, Pledge Multi-Surface Wax, the new name for Kleer, is good stuff, yes. But new guys and even old guys who haven't yet tried this stuff right here, please do yourselves a big favour and do not get ripped off by unscrupulous sellers who've panic bought and stockpiled the old stuff purely to make money from anyone gullible enough to believe the hype. Remember what the original purpose and reason for its popularity was: a cheap, large bottle of varnish. That's precisely what you get with the new stuff, just the same as the old. Check the links below my video to the Swannies model page showing the worldwide variants of this miraculous fluid and some other alternatives that can be used instead. Anyone who hasn't tried it, don't fret. Seriously, you're not missing anything miraculous. It's cheap enough if you want to try it and you don't like it. I'm sure you'll know someone with laminate floors who can make use of it and will be very appreciative. But you shouldn't lose any sleep over it. It won't do anything to improve your model building that regular gloss varnish won't do. And if you have any of the old stuff sitting around and you aren't likely to use it, sell it now before everyone realises they're getting ripped off. And on that note, if somebody wants to offer me £20 plus shipping for mine, please feel free. I hope this has been enlightening and useful for anyone taking the time to watch. Any questions, please fire away. Any profanities and opinions on my parentage by sellers with stockpiles of the old stuff, please keep them to yourself, I'm not interested. Thank you for watching. Whoa, hold on there, we're not quite done. I just want to make a quick mention and say that I do know that in the US this stuff rather, as was, is called Future. And I believe in Australia it's called Future Shine or something along those lines. As I mentioned, if you look at the Swannies model page, that gives you all of the international variants and tells you what it's called in different countries. And the countries where you're not able to get it, it will give you variants that do essentially the same task. The main thing to remember is don't get robbed. You don't need the old stuff, the new stuff does exactly the same thing. Go out to Morrison's or to a hardware store, treat yourself to one of these and have a play about with it, see what you think. Thanks again.